Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Unblinded Morning Huddle. Bienvenidos, hello, and howdy to you on this Mastery Ecosystem Merging Monday. My name's Fernando, and I'm so excited to be sharing this time with you that we share every Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. This is the Unblinded Huddle, the number one place to start your day with a daily dose of integrity-based human influence. And I'm so excited because we have people from all over the world. We have people from all over the United States, all over Europe, and some places that we might not even know. So say good morning in the chat, say hello, share some of your energy, share where you're calling in from, and what you're present to. It's Ecosystem Merging Mastery Monday. What is one ecosystem? What is one ecosystem that you're merging with today? And if you're like, whoa, I just got here. What's an ecosystem? An ecosystem is a person, many people, a group of people, a nation. Like the Meadowlands Chamber of Commerce is an ecosystem. Sean Callagy himself is an ecosystem. Callagy Law is an ecosystem. So all those different dynamics, the state of Utah is an ecosystem. All of those are ecosystems. So what is an ecosystem? I see Boston. What's up, Jack? Calling in from Boston. Jack from Boston is an ecosystem. Boston, I'm trying to say that with as much Boston accent as possible. I believe the Jerseyan is coming out. We have telemedicine, that industry. Where are you in your city? That's an ecosystem. Jay Levine, that dude's an energetic ecosystem, a galvanizer, a trainer, a driver. Those are his dynamics. Now we're going to micro distinctions of ecosystems. For now, what is an ecosystem that you're merging with on Ecosystem Merging Mastery Monday? And Mr. Callagy, how are you? Sean with the hat and the hoodie, or the sweatshirt, my apologies. How are you?
I'm doing great, and good morning to everybody. And Fernando, thank you for the energy and your leadership and certainty. And thank you everybody for being here, and happy Mastery Monday, Ecosystem Merger Monday, as Fernando was sharing. So first, my heart is open. My heart is warm and thankful for like everything that we have, present to things that we don't have yet. And all of us are here because we want something. You want something. You want more money, and or you want it in less time, at scale, and or you want it with more magic, the emotional context that you want to experience. Like, that's what we're here to do, to launch into the day. Over the weekend, and I will drop back into ecosystem merging in a second, Fernando, just stay with me, brother. And by the way, quickly, do we have any guests coming up today, or we're complete for today in terms of guests?
Yes, we have two guests coming up today. We have Corey and we have Grace.
Awesome. Okay. So I'll do this super quickly because I really want to start compressing our time. I want to be super efficient and compress this down to 15-minute huddles in the morning. We may not get there today, but that is the outcome. Okay. So you can have more people that you want to do business with come on here and not be like, oh my God, it's half an hour, I have half an hour. Hey, it's only 15 minutes. Let's go. So here's where I am. And I confronted myself last night in the building of self-mastery. And you might go like, what is self-mastery? And it's not this, but it's not this. Self-mastery is discipline, accountability, focus, urgency, speed, momentum, self-love, love of others, destruction of limiting beliefs, reframing into empowering beliefs, not having yourself influenced by the fears and distortions and desires of others, right? Desires of others can be okay as long as they're in alignment, of course, right? We have to meet others' desires to get our own desires. But fear and distortion, like aware, like resistant, bulletproof, like fear and distortion, bulletproofness is a part of self-mastery. And so all of those things are present. And when we speak about ecosystem, right? Ecosystem, what I'm very present to is the opportunity for time blocking, for your time blocking, for ecosystem merging, and an acceleration in your mastery of what value exchange means in ecosystem merging. So I sense a real opportunity for the destruction of like old paradigm of like transactional, loose referral. Hey, we're merged ecosystems because we talk on the phone, versus specific flag in the ground, date, action step, mutual mixing of people, for stage and microphone-ness, and the value differential that you can add as a great speaker, the value you can add as a person organizing, a person galvanizing, a person taking action steps, like mutuality of making those things happen. That is what ecosystem merging is about you're unlocking your awareness of value. And I said this, and I'll be really brief. The first massive ecosystem merger I had was a person. This is the gentleman, for those that have heard the story, he had a lion in his backyard. I had no money, and I went into his house, and he told me what the ecosystem merger was going to look like. And it was not something I wanted to do, was willing to do, or it was even okay with me to do, like what it would be. And this is in the space of like legal, right? And I'm like, and my choice was to be like, oh, this is not going to work. And inside of me, I was so deflated, so defeated. But I understood the beginnings of the formula. This is like the earliest stages of its like evolution. And what occurred in that meeting was me realizing scotomas without the name, and me realizing that you're here, doctor, for a reason though. Like I'm in your house for a reason. And I think it's beyond the transactional nature of like tit for tat, like revenue sharing or like stuff. I think it's something more. And just, could you give me the opportunity? Like, what are your biggest challenges? 'Cause I think you're having challenges collecting money. And he's like, well, I got 7 people that do that. I said, what if, but you want more money? Like, don't you want that money? So I was able to delve into that category, create a window and a frame, and say to him, if I do ABC successfully in collecting money for you, will you tell all of your friends? Will blow your mind. Will you get off this other idea of how you want to like essentially use me, right? And get into like this space. And his answer was yes. So that was the beginning of the ecosystem merger. I did what he hoped I would do, and I hoped I would do and could figure out how to do, which I had to, because of my influence mastery skill set. And then that was it. And then all of a sudden I started, in an hour making $15,000 with my feet up on a dashboard on the way up to a ski trip, with Tyler in a car seat in the back, less than a year old, like 3 months later. And like those sequencings happening because of how all the stuff started to come together. And it was unbelievable. But the key takeaway on Ecosystem Merger Monday is your self-mastery, right? You're loving yourself enough, your resistance to fear and distortion, and commitment to time blocking. Like your discipline, your self-discipline to time block, to ask, to function, to count, right? And to rise above the self-mastery dynamic of, well, I just, I want that feeling of connection. We want that, but connection by itself and dreams by themselves are not going to get you what you want. They're not going to, if you want more money in less time, they're not going to result without specific structures. One of my greatest concerns with the movie The Secret, and I honor its concept, but there is one part of The Secret that says, and if you really build out structures and, you set all these specific goals, then you deprive the universe of its ability to work and make things happen. And you just have to think, you could watch a part of The Secret, one part of it, and you could hear the message. And this has actually been documented on the internet. I think somebody could sue The Secret, because the idea was you could just actually sit back, do nothing, and that's better than doing something. And I'm not saying it said that. I'm not saying it said that. I'm not resolving that today. But I am resolving this, that we do live in a space in adult self-education, some call it personal development, where we could mistake the notion of flow and abundance and things for the absence of planning and structure and action. We've had beautiful, amazing humans from the WNBA on. Ask them if they just sat back and hoped that they win a championship or be in the Hall of Fame, and they'll laugh. There's structure, there's process, and there's enjoyment, flow, and fun in it. But there's the counting of things, the discipline of things. There's the doing when you don't want to, when your body says no, when your mind says no. That's all part of it. And then what do you do with that? Once you have that self-mastery, or as you're building that self-mastery muscle, you're merging ecosystems, remembering and becoming more skilled in seeing the exchange of value that can occur in a situation. So as you wake up to Ecosystem Merger Monday today, it's unlock your value, time block your ecosystem merging, and demand your own self-discipline. Don't seek the approval of others. And do you think I'm on the right track? Do you think like, I don't know, what do you think? Only ask people that are succeeding wildly that question. If they're not, don't ask them. That violates rule number 1 of modeling. I don't ask people I love and care about, hey, what do you think I should do next in terms of a situation if they have no experience or success in doing something? It's ridiculous. I realized that a long time ago, and the great mistake people often make is asking the wrong people for advice and feedback, which only confuses you and limits your self-mastery more. So that said, Fernando, anything on that point? And let's bring our guests up.
Sean, nothing on that point. Very well received. Love the distinction. I just want to give a shout out to Michael Smikin, your longest student over a decade, who gave me one of the top 5 breakthroughs of 2019, was the distinction between creation and execution. It is like the distinction between creation and execution. Execution is the game. That's where it comes from. That's results. That's Teresa Weatherspoon, Crystal Robbins. And it's like beautiful names to bring up, because as I flip over here, I want to introduce our first guest. We have, one second. We have our man, Corey Richards. So I want to read his bio, and then I want to tell you who he's been in our world. But he works with companies that offer cutting edge technologies designed to cut costs for small to large brands, utility savings, credit and debt card processing, and products designed to lower insurance premiums, to name a few. Customers of these technologies include Apple, Boeing, Amazon, Tesla, Google, and the Dallas Cowboys. Taught photography, videography, graphic design, and marketing for 17 years and traveled around the world doing it. His passion is his wife of 27 years, Kelly, and their 2 children. Cameron, his fiance, Kaylee, my apologies if I said that incorrectly, and Kennedy and her fiance, Ethan. He also enjoys being involved with missions around the world. And that's a great segue for who he is to me. So a big thank you to Courtney Epps for introducing us to the world of Corey Richards, and more importantly, for his involvement in Crystal Robinson, in Teresa Weatherspoon, some others, which I'll allow him to share because his ecosystem is vast. And every time he showed up in the world, it is always in service of others. He is a gentleman, and I thought about this when I was in the car, and I giggled. He's like the type of guy that like someone could rob his wallet and he'll thank them for like the beautiful day they're going to have with it. He is selfless. He's a beautiful leader, and he's a dear friend to the movement. So Sean Callaghy, Corey Richards.
Hey, Corey, welcome, brother. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much, and good morning.
Good morning. So what is present for you on this July 6th, post 4th of July morning, and what's happening?
I tell you what, my heart is joyful, I guess is the best way to describe it. I know that it seems like if you turn on the news, there's so much negative going on in the world, but much to the things that you guys are helping bring together in this eco merging, there's just so much momentum as far as it seems like there are things that are gearing up to make some very significant positive impacts on the globe. And so for that, I'm just joyful to be a part of it, to be honest with you.
That's awesome. And Corey, so you're somebody, if you're like, hey, how do you work with a professional sports team? How do you work with Apple? Like, you can give advice and feedback on that. And congratulations on the incredible things that you're doing and have accomplished. And thank you for all of your generous contributions to the world of Unblinded already. So what is it though that drives you at this point, Corey? I often ask that question. You know, you've done a lot, had a lot, have a lot. What is it that keeps you going?
You know, that's a great question. And I've been thinking a lot about that, especially since we all met in Salt Lake City, and some of the wonderful meetings that we had with Operation Underground Railroad, with Janelle and her aftercare, with the Last Well, and of course with Manna Relief. And I think there's a story in the Bible, I think it's in Exodus, and the Israelites were going to battle, and as long as Moses's hands were raised, then God's people would win the battle. But of course he would get a little bit fatigued, and when his arms would go down, then the enemy would win. But there was 2 people one by the name of Aaron, who when he got tired and his hands would come down, Aaron would help him keep his hands raised. And I feel like I'm an Aaron, and I find absolute peace and joy in that role. That's what makes me happy, is to help lift other people up, because either they deserve to be lifted up, or because when they're lifted up, it causes significant change to a group of people, whether it be an individual or all the way to some of the global things that we're all about to try to impact as a team together. So when I'm happiest is when I'm building, or when I'm lifting up, or when I'm introducing someone that I absolutely believe in and have faith in.
That's awesome, brother. And what is it that you're seeing here with Unblinded, and why, are you giving a beautiful gift of some of your energy, attention, and time?
Oh gosh. Okay. So I know we're keeping this short, and that is an impossible question for a very short answer, but I could give just a brief, short example. And this is just a mere shadow of what we're experiencing, but just take Crystal. So Crystal and I, Crystal, she'll kill me for saying this. Crystal's 45 years old, and I've known her for 44 of those years. I mean, we go back to before memories were being formed. We're from the same small town, and so many of the legendary things that you hear that happened to Crystal, even as a small child, I was there to witness it. Her older brother was in my class. I think, in fact, Crystal's nickname for my sister was Happy Meal growing up, but that's another story. But the thing is seeing the talent that Crystal has to offer the masses. Just with her becoming involved in Unblinded and watching what's unfolding for her, but also seeing what's unfolding for the people that she comes in contact with, is just, gosh, there's not even a word for it that I can think of, but just pure joy. I don't know how else to say it. That's just what my heart feels this morning. And so, she's called me multiple times the last few days about some other people that she's so excited about introducing to Unblinded and what it's doing. And it's just seeing people like that taking something that you guys have established it and just flourishing with it in a significant way. So, and that is just one of, it seems like 15,000 things that have happened in the last 6 weeks since I have been introduced to you guys by Courtney Epps. And by the way, I'm actually at her house. We drove 14 hours from Oklahoma, and we're spending the week with her, taking care of some things. But I'm actually with Courtney this week.
Well, thank you for that, Corey. And yeah, and Courtney Epps, we're talking about this a minute ago. Her level of self-discipline, time blocking, generosity, and love is extraordinary. I mean,
absolutely.
That is a person that digs in and makes makes me feel lazy. Courtney just brings it like an absolute warrior. So amazing. So Corey, as we draw to a close for today, any final messages to these fine folks out there about, if you had one key distinction, you'd share them with them about merging ecosystems, the creating of strategic alliances, how you've done the things you've done, what would your quick, 20 or 30 second core message be in that space?
No matter how small or insignificant you are, if you will decide to completely give that up to others that surround you that can help bless that situation, it's amazing how something very small and insignificant can be global changing. A lot of people think the most significant or the largest scale miracle in the Bible was the feeding of the 5,000. But it all started with that one small boy that had very little, just a few loaves and fishes, but he was willing to give that into the master's hands. So no matter what gift that you have, no matter how small it may seem compared to other people that you may see on this program, man, just step out in faith, take that gift that you have, be willing to give it, no matter how small or how large, but watch how the people around you can take and magnify that to where it can literally change the globe.
Awesome, brother. Corey, thank you. Happy Ecosystem Merger and Mastery Monday, and have a beautiful day.
It is my pleasure. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here, Corey.
Yeah. And so what I'd like to do is, because I really want to keep this time integrity, I want to bring Grace up for a minute and just ask her permission if we can carry her, comments till tomorrow and maybe seed them. But let's bring Grace up real quick, Fernando.
Awesome. So Grace, you are here. The short end of the story is that Grace, I'm so grateful that you've made it to the Unblinded movement. If it was not for Susan Lee, which introduced us at the Callagee Christmas party, which is like probably the wildest Christmas party I've ever been to. Different story for different day. And by the way, Susan Lee is source for me being part of Unblinded and meeting Sean. So I am grateful, and my mind is connected to the power of ecosystem merging. Grace, I'm so grateful for your leadership within Unblinded. And hello, how are you?
Great, wonderful. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Fernando, for giving me the opportunity here.
So Grace, I'm going to ask is your permission, because I want to spend some meaningful time unpacking a couple of things that we've been chatting about, and your acceleration, your heart, your amazingness. Would you be okay if we carried that to tomorrow to keep in our time integrity from today?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So Grace, quick message from you on Ecosystem Merger Monday, like what's on your heart for this group, and then we'll pick it up tomorrow.
Okay, beside the jitters in my stomach, I am very grateful to be here. Thank you. I'm grateful to you, to Sean, to Fernando, and the wonderful Christmas party that I was at to meet with you. When there's a party, you invite me, I'm there.
All right, and tomorrow we're going to pick it up. So if you have a party today, invite Grace. If not, we'll pick it up tomorrow. And Grace has taken on her acceleration in speaking and ecosystem merging, and really is doing a beautiful job in her own acceleration. And she's got quite an amazing story. So we'll pick it up tomorrow with Grace. Thank you all. Fernando, beautiful. Ecosystem Merger Monday time block, self-mastery. Have fun in growing in the muscle of your discipline and your acceleration, unlocking the massive value you add. Have a beautiful day. If not you, then who? Thanks.